back. We're moving into our final segment for today, and of course, as a part of Culture Week, leading up to the celebration of November 19th, we've been joined by members of the NGC, Belize City, and we're going to be talking about the language and just Garifuna appreciation. Joining us today, we have the president, Damien Parchue. We have Secretary Natalie Valentine.
Good morning.
And we also have a founding member, and no stranger, Sebastian Cayetano.
Right.
Good morning,
Good morning.
and welcome to the show. Now, every time around November 19th, you know, there's quite a bit of focus on Garifuna, the culture, etc. This year, I like the fact that you're going to be focusing on particular areas so that people can get a feel for it. Why take this approach this time around?
Well, I suppose this is the time we highlight Garifuna, and besides the music that we always hear, we need to focus also on the language, because the Garifuna language we feel has been threatened. As they say, the theme for this year's celebration is Lawanserun Garifunaduau, Hadasi Garinagu. Lawanserun Garifunaduau, Hadasi Garinagu, meaning Garifuna Progress is the task of all Garinagu, and that comes onto the language. Also, what I really like most about one of the efforts of the Battle of the Drums, this music, but the lyrics must be in Garifuna. Also, our Queen pageant, our young ladies are told they have to make their presentations in Garifuna to bring out the culture. Yes. So the emphasis is on the language, but there's a serious threat on the language. And part of this threat is many people don't speak Garifuna at home, which is very sad and unfortunate. And consequently, the children grow up without learning the language or speaking it.
So the language is still, just for clarity's sake, is Garifuna.
Yes.
The people are
Garinagu.
all right. I'm just making sure of that.
Exactly.
Now, as you start talking about the language being under threat,
Right.
how do you get people to use the language more?
That's a good question. Well, first of all, we have to speak it. And I would say speak it wherever, especially in a Garifuna audience, Garifuna community. But our people must be encouraged to speak it. There is no shame. There should not be any shame attached to speaking Garifuna. As in the past, some of our people were derided and made shame to speak their very own language. And that also helped kill the language, you know. But in my case, I grew up in Barranco village and in Odosha village where we spoke Quechua. I have never been ashamed of speaking my own language. And one thing I give great credit to my wife, Isani's mother. When we got married, she said her biggest job is to make sure that her children speaks to her in her own language. And this meant the challenge is that she has to speak the language to them, and they in turn must speak the language to her. And in Garifuna, because there are times when the mother, the parents speak Garifuna to the children, and the children answer in Creole.
When you look at the whole aspect of culture, however, from a broad perspective,
Yes,
the language is only one facet or one aspect of it.
that's right.
You
Yes.
have the spirituality, you have the food,
Yes.
the music,
Music.
and the history and the overall lifestyle.
Right.
Why is there this much emphasis being placed on the language retrieval as opposed to, for instance, strengthening other aspects of the culture?
Because we feel, man, that the loss of the language can also mean eventually the loss of the culture. The language bears the culture, yes, and when you lose the language,
You lose everything.
you lose the authenticity.
That's arguable though, because to look at it from this point of view, right? The Belizean experience is that whenever you have a culture day,
Right.
right, you have people from all different ethnicity dressed in Garifuna attire,
That's correct.
Yes.
right? And so that the music is also one of the chief cultural export of the country.
That's perfectly
Right?
true. Yes.
And then who doesn't eat hoodoo?
Everybody.
Everybody.
So all those areas are still very much alive and well.
Yes.
Right? So if you look at the language in itself and the fact that not only are we more urbanized now, where you have people living in cities and towns as opposed to the villages that are native to Garifuna people, it could be argued that the language as one area of it, yes, it might be facing certain challenges, but the overall culture, which makes you who you are, is very much alive and well. It's not going anywhere.
Yes, but Isane, when you look at the music, if it is not Garifuna words,
It is not Garifuna.
it's not Garifuna. When you celebrate the Garifuna Mass, if it is not in Garifuna,
It's not a Garifuna mass.
it's not Garifuna Mass.
And Mr. Kai, I also posed another problem in the spirituality, because when we do our spiritual activities, the ancestors speak to us in Garifuna.
Exactly.
So it will be difficult for us to communicate with our ancestors if they'll be talking Garifuna. We don't understand what they're telling us.
That's an interesting. That's an interesting.
So we want to be able to communicate even with our ancestors.
Yeah.
And it is already difficult to communicate with them because there is such a thing called the archaic Garifuna that we are losing the
That
old
is true.
Garifuna
Old
language.
Garifuna,
And
that's
that's what the ancestors they talk. And
Yes.
when we, the new generation, hear these people speaking the archaic Garifuna, we don't understand.
Yeah.
So it's a challenge.
Is there still, as you're talking about the archaic, one of the things that I've read, I don't know, but do women speak differently from men?
Yes.
And how do you make the collective language? When you're talking about preservation, is there going to be two tracks to this preservation? Is there going-
Both. For example, okay, let's begin. The Garifuna ethnic group, there are three races or ethnic groups to it. You have the Arawak, the Carib, and the African. Okay. Somehow, very few African words are in the Garifuna language. And of course, this is West Africa: Nigeria, Ghana, Sierra Leone, Liberia, Senegal, Angola. That's our West African heritage. A heritage that we share with our Creole cousins.
Correct.
Okay. The Arawak and the Carib, the language is predominantly Arawak and Carib. With the Arawak being the language of the female and the Carib being the language of the male. Yes. For example, the English word come, the man says hagab. No, the man says
Ahu.
Aho.
The woman
And
says,
the woman
says
says
agab.
agab.
The word rain, the man says gunubu. The woman says
Huya.
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 The pronoun you, the man says amur. The woman says buguya. The pronoun I, as the man I say ow, the woman says nuguya.
Nuguya.
So do you teach both so that you can?
Yes. Now, but unfortunately, the man's language, which is Carib, is slowly being lost.
Is it because culture is maintained by women more than men?
Well, partly, but because in the past, it was the men who would take along their young boys on long journeys, and during the journeys, the men would teach the man's language to the children. But today we don't have such long journeys. So it's the children who stay at home with the mother, and then
They
they
learn
The
mother's
mother's
language.
version.
Yeah, and that is one challenge that we have with another is in the home sometimes the father is absent, and so the children learn the Garifuna from the mother. So you end up with boys talking Garifuna, but they're talking the woman Garifuna, the woman language, more than the male language, because he have learned Garifuna from his mom.
Which there is absolutely nothing wrong with. In the universal context of being able to speak the language, then technically it doesn't matter if it's the male or the female. I think what I've learned as well is that as a man, male growing into adulthood, right? Even if you're learning the mother's tongue, so to speak, eventually when you interact with other men, including the older men, you will learn and pick up on the actual language of the male.
Correct.
I use Roy Cayetano as an example.
Yes.
Right? When I talk to my dad, I can speak either one with him. But when I speak with Roy, he only speaks the language of the male. So yes, it's a learning experience, but it forces you to have to be able to respond in the same language as well.
And the male language is also heavier and more authoritative when the male talk. They speak with authority.
More forceful.
Was forceful, yes. Correct.
Now, when you're talking to people who are not Garifuna, and you're talking about the language, etc., most people access Garifuna culture through music.
Yes.
So when you're talking about the songs, I know, for example, if I hear a song, I sing what I hear. It might not even be a Garifuna word. You know, so where can I access, for example, the lyrics? I know when there was the And the Palacio Watina album, my nephew, for example, sang the song, and he went to you to learn the language and the correct pronunciation and everything. But where do you get that? Because, you know, I'd sound like an idiot. I might even say something that, you know, is not Garifuna.
That's the beauty with some artists. They go through the pains of having the translation.
Correct.
Have the Garifuna words and then the English translation of the songs. That helps a lot. Yes. Otherwise, you would have to get it translated
From someone. Yeah, very few artists put up the lyrics of the song on the internet, so it's not accessible. You might need to go to somebody who is Garifuna to get the lyrics, especially with the old traditional Garifuna songs. You will need to go to somebody who knows them and to give you the translation for it and the lyrics.
Another question that I have is, as you're talking about the differences of language, and we know that you have Honduras and parts of Guatemala that also speak.
Yes.
Is it a universal Garifuna
yes,
language?
It is universal.
So
okay, in our case here in Belize, we tend to mix our Garifuna with English and some Creole. In Honduras, it would be with Spanish. They are Spanish too.
And sometimes Mr. Kai, these different Garifuna settlements or Garifuna place, they have their own dialect sometimes too, you know. Because when I'm in Labuga, or these people, they use the term, they say this word, wodi, means we're going. We in Belize, we might not use that term, we use widi, we say widi, but these people, they say wodi, but it is different, but we can identify.
Exactly, certain words.
It is different, but we can identify. Even in Dangriga, Mr. Kai, for example, these people, they use the third person. If they were greeting you, and it's both of us, they say, either way, either Biangi, they say, Age, wait. No, these people, they for the second person. So they say, Lara Mahama. That would translate to they stand up. But they use it, they use it as singular, plural. You stand up, Lara Mahama. That means you guys stand up. In Dangriga, in Punta Gorda, we would say Lara Huma, Lara Mahuma. That means Uno stand up. In Dangriga, Lara Mahama. So, yes, that's how they used it in Dangriga. And I was strange because the morning I meet an old lady and lady say, she used the term to me, Hama, but I wasn't familiar with it, but I know what she was getting at. So I was able to identify, different, but I was able to identify.
One thing that was done with the Creole language was the creation of a dictionary.
Yes.
Is that the route that you're going as well? And I know this will date me
We've
somewhat.
been there long before.
No, but accessibility. I'm just talking about
Okay.
having it accessible, whether it's online or somewhere where you can actually go and look up a particular word and see what it means. Because for me, on an annual basis, there's this theme, and I want to know what the theme means.
Exactly.
And I'm trying to, like I look at it,
That's right.
I try and pronounce it,
Yeah.
but I don't know what it means, so it doesn't take on any significance for me.
Okay.
So how do you get, for example, the translation and why that is significant?
And that's why Roy Cayetano and members of NGC really did a great, wonderful job in creating the
Garifuna
Garifuna Dictionary. Yes. And it's very helpful. It needs some kind of revision by now, but it helps a lot. The same thing
It's
with
out of print, or is it available
It's
still?
available.
It's available.
Okay, good.
It's
Yeah.
available. It's
It's
available.
available at the Luba Garifuna Museum. And by the way, we'll be selling hudud on the 19th day itself.
All right.
The Saturday and the Monday.
That's a commercial, you know.
Yes. And I'm also very happy that Silvana Woods, Myrna Manzanares, and the rest worked together and produced the Creole Dictionary and the New Testament version of the Bible.
Bible.
That's the way to go. Our languages must be preserved, and only we can do it
Correct.
with other assistance, Yes. Here we also have the Garifuna
Garifuna Bible.
Bible, Sandu Burut. Yes. And if you want to learn Garifuna, learn the Bible.
Read the Bible.
No, every year around this time, as you said, we highlight a lot of different aspects.
Right.
But you tend to, as an individual, a non-Garifuna person, to migrate to particular things, It might be a little bit of the food, might be a little bit of the music.
Yep.
Last Friday, I was in Dangriga for a power activity, and there was a celebration and tribute to Tibum,
Okay.
and there was a group from Honduras, and I noticed that the music, even though it's Garifuna music, the tempo, the everything
yeah.
is
Different,
completely different.
different.
I don't know how to quantify it and say, okay, that is from Honduras, this is from Belize.
Correct.
But you can tell that there's a difference.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
And in talking about the language and everything else, it's sometimes I have these questions, but I might not call Isane to find out, or etc. But where do you find those nuances, or where do you get that information to know the difference, for example, with the music? Or what's...
Well, as a Garifuna, we grew up with our style of music here in Belize, and for our ears, it is easy for us to distinguish the difference. The people from the Garinagu, them from Honduras, they do have a much faster tempo for everything. Okay, but it's still Garifuna music, and we love it nevertheless. I want to stray away into the spirituality as well, because these people, they do the spiritual work different from us as well, but we can identify with what they do. We Garinagu, sometimes we are stick to one way of doing something, and we know it this way, and we think that there's no other way to do it but that way. And when we see it another way, we become threatened or distasteful or something like that. And now we need to open up, because the Garinagu in Belize are not the only Garinagu on the face of the earth.
That's right.
We have Garinagu in Nicaragua, Honduras, Guatemala, and each community has their own unique way of doing the spiritual ceremony. They have their own way. When you go to La Buga, it is different. Maybe you go to Nicaragua, it's different. But Dugu Meme, it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
So I cannot go to people from La Buga and tell them that they're not Dugu. I never learned it like that.
That's the one way.
That would be discriminatory.
Correct. So as Garinagu, we have to open up to other ways of doing. And the thing is, it bears the same results.
That's right.
Whether we do it the Labugana style, the Honduran style, Belize style, the same results.
That's right.
Now, as we're moving towards the celebration, I don't want us to run out of time without, one, I want the theme for this year. And if you can break that down for me.
Okay, the theme says, Lawanserun Garifunaduau, Hadasi Garinagu, meaning Garifuna Progress, Atas for all Garinagu, Belize Progress, a task for all Belizeans.
Good. Now I have to see it in writing.
We have a great chairman. We have a great chairman.
Everything.
Yes.
Oh yes, all right, all right.
It's right there. It's right there.
It's at the top there.
Let's talk a little bit about the activities before we run out of time as well this week. How people can, is there a mass every day? You know?
No, the mass will be, by the way, tomorrow is a tribute. We memorialize Thomas Vincent Thomas tomorrow, 13th of November. That is his death day, the day he died, 1955. So in Dangriga, it's going to be a big tribute for TV Ramos, a parade to his grave. Methodist Church, there will be a ceremony there and then a parade there. Here in Belize City, we're going to have a mass at St. Martin's Church at 7 p.m. to honor, to give tribute to Thomas Vincent Thomas for his great contribution to Garinagu in Belize and worldwide, and especially for the holiday he gave us, 19th of November.
You know.
Yeah.
And then on Wednesday, we're having a spirituality forum at UWI, at 7 o'clock Wednesday night. This forum is very important, and I want to invite everybody who is interested in a Garifuna spirituality, because we want to clear up a lot of the misunderstanding about Garifuna spirituality.
So it's not necessarily, because when people think about that, you know, you talk about Obia, and people think, no, something negative.
Correct,
you
and
know?
that's why it is important for these people to reach there so they get the correct understanding of what Garifuna spirituality is, because it's not Obiam, I assure you that.
Yes, and when we talk about the Digger ceremony, the Digger ceremony is a Thanksgiving ceremony, family reunion, above all, healing. Healing ceremony, because Garifuna belief is Aubum Amorinu. That means I am because you are because I am. Reciprocity.
All right.
And on the Thursday, we're going to have the Garifuna Awareness Day. And this is
Exactly.
whereby I applaud and I appeal to all schools. If their students are Garifuna, let them wear their outfit. In passes, some principals, some vice principals send their students home because they're in a Garifuna outfit. And that is very disrespectful
And cruel.
and cruel.
Yes.
So we applaud everyone in a Garifuna who is a Garifuna person, a Garifuna student, a Garifuna teacher. Please wear your outfit. It's only one time for the year we do this.
Even at the workplace. Even at
Does-
the workplace.
Does the council actually approach schools to, because some people might not know, you know, and you know, with the uniform rules, etc.,
Yes,
they may see it as something else. But is it something that the council actually, you know, reminds people, or actually write asking for permission on behalf of students that they?
Yes, I think that should be the way to go. But then remember, we are all Belizeans. Above all, we are all Belizeans. The Garifuna is only a part of Belize. Now, this is a day we call for solidarity, a day of solidarity. Garifuna Awareness Day. Let's share, let's wear yellow, or let's decorate our place with Garifuna colors, black, white, and yellow. You know? A solidarity.
And you don't have to be Garifuna to
wear
put
the-
on
wear the
clothes.
outfit.
No.
Correct.
And I'm glad that other people are also wearing our outfit. Excellent. That's the way to go, Belize. Solidarity. I believe in that.
Correct.
And on Friday, we're going to have the award ceremony at the Mexican Embassy. We're going to honor 5 of our Belizean Garifuna people. We have Magistrate Dale Cayetano. We have Councillor Michael Norales. We have Mr. Michael Enriquez, and we have Magistrate Patricia Arana. And we're going to honor Atlantic Bank and Post Office.
Yes.
These are the people that were with us, and these 2 are our sponsors that always sponsor us and never ever turn us around.
Yes.
And on Saturday, we're going to have
Drumming.
drummings at Mrs. Arana on the Mahogany.
Yes.
Alongside, we're going to have some Garfina dishes on sale.
And the best of Sahel.
Yes, William. Yes, I will be
Yes.
here.
Early, what time? What time?
We're going to have
But,
activities there from
8
10
o'clock.
till 6.
Yeah, 10 till 6.
Okay.
And on Sunday, the same thing on the mahogany, Mrs. Arana.
Yeah.
And then on the Sunday night, everyone can move over to the
Lirici.
Lirici. They're going to have a big concert bringing in the 19th.
Yes.
That's the 18th.
The Yurume leave from by Lirici.
Yes.
Yes,
That's
and
the one
then,
that everybody is happily anticipating.
Yes.
and then the Yurume leaves from Lirici about 4 o'clock
4
in the
o'clock.
morning, and they will land, they will arrive at Belcan Bridge.
The Suncast Plaza.
Yeah, they arrive at Belcan Bridge, 7 o'clock in the morning, where the mayor will be out there to meet them, and then we parade to St. Martin's
Martin
Church for a Thanksgiving Mass at 8 o'clock. Yes, after the Mass, about 9:30, then the parade will proceed back to Lirici,
For the
where we'll
official.
have the official ceremonies and
All
all
the
the jamming.
activities.
We'll have Mali at Lirici, the best of foods and everything else.
That
We'll also
is-
sell food, Garifuna food, at the Luba Garifuna Museum.
There's one humble request to be made though
Okay.
regarding the Yurume, right?
Okay.
And this is just my observation, and I'm sharing it openly.
Yes.
A lot of times when you have the reenactment, you're using outboard engines, which is, to me, disrespectful to the whole idea of the arrival.
Correct.
So that
It's
if we're
true.
going to do the Yurume, then you need to get some able men
To
to
paddle
paddle.
the
to
dory.
the paddle, as opposed to stroking
From the restaurant all the way
It's doable. That's the way it should be done, actually.
Yeah.
As opposed to
It's
doing
true.
it.
and he's signing up first.
That's
He's signing up first, right?
That's it's done in Punta Gorda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we're sticking to tradition,
Yeah.
Stick to that.
then that should be the way.
Well, we'll talk to Captain Domingo Liz. See what he can do.
So he's signing, we'll see you paddling.
Depends on my state.
All right.
Hey.
Well, we're getting ready to wrap the segment, but we want to thank you all so much for having this conversation.
Yes.
The dictionary is available
Yes, at the Luba Garifuna Museum,
and anywhere else across the country.
in Dangriga, yes, at Cayetano's residence, and other places. Yes. The Bible was available at Divine Mercy, and definitely in Punta Gorda at the Catholic Parish.
All right.
Yes.
But
Yeah, man. And then, 2 books here. This book, Garinagu. This is the Magic Drums. This is the work of Miss Emily Ramirez from Punta Gorda. This is a book for the children. Yes, and this is available at the
and what does the word mean?
Drum.
Drums.
Drums.
Garinagu is the Garinagu. Yes, and it's available at
You don't
Angela's
really have
Press.
human know what that means. You know?
Sorry, at Angela's Press and at the Luba Garifuna Museum and in PG as well. Then we have this great effort, Garifuna Made Easy for Children by Abdul Nunez.
Yes.
Yes, you can get this at Gateway Institute of Learning. These are efforts to promote
Garifuna literature.
Garifuna literature. Yes, we have this one here. This one was made way back then. Narenga, Biti Binafi, by Mrs. Felicia Hernandez. It's a very good booklet for beginners. Yes, and as we talk about Garifuna, we cannot conclude without looking at the alphabet. In Garifuna, there is no C. You have A, C, no C. We use the letter K instead. We have CH as in Spanish. And we have D, E, F, G, no J. We have H. Jesus would be spelled with
With an
H. Okay, K, L, M, 2 N, and N and an N as in
With a
Spanish.
tilde.
Yes. Then O, P, no Q. We have R, S, T, 2 U, U and U. W and Y. No X and no Z. We don't need it.
Well, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Yes, thank you guys for having us as well.
We're going to go ahead and take our final break, and when we come back, we'll have our wrap for today. Open Your Eyes concludes after these messages.